So we're here at Emirates Stadium for a top-of-the-table WSL clash today. The champions of England versus the champions of Europe, and there's no hiding the fact that this is a must-win game for Arsenal today. They are 5 points behind Chelsea in the table. A draw probably makes title unlikely, but not impossible. A defeat, I think, makes it impossible. I think it's a must-win game for Arsenal, but if they do win, I think it puts them right back in the picture. I think what's really interesting about this game, though, is that Chelsea this season, they've had the results. I don't think they've always had the performances so far this season. However, they keep eking out the results. I think one of the things I'm going to be looking for today is that Chelsea and Leicester play the same system. They both play with a back three. Neither of them has an awful lot of pace around the outside of their defence. And I wouldn't mind betting that last weekend at Leicester was a bit of a dress rehearsal for how Arsenal are going to approach this game today. So I'm expecting to see Stina Blackstenius up front, and I'm expecting to see Arsenal try to exploit those spaces that they exploited so well at Leicester last weekend. However, obviously the quality of the opposition is very, very different today. Chelsea are a much better team than Leicester are, but we'll see. There are some people, myself included, who think these kind of almost cup games, because that's what this is for Arsenal, bring the best out of this Arsenal team in that pressure situation. So let's see what happens. So we're underway here at Emirates Stadium for Arsenal-Chelsea. Like I said before, must-win game for Arsenal, really. Interesting to see how Chelsea's decision to go to a back four affects Arsenal's game plan, whether they tweak anything, because I think they were expecting a back three from Chelsea. But these games are usually decided by small margins. I don't think it's going to be any different today. Chelsea take the lead through Alyssa Thompson, and to be honest, it has been coming. Chelsea have started this game much, much better. They've been putting Arsenal under pressure. They've been really aiming for Arsenal's left-hand side, and again, Alyssa Thompson took up quite a central position, dribbled through midfield, pretty much unchallenged, got over to that right-hand side again, cut back, and she's lobbed the ball over Daphne van Domselaar. 1-0 to Chelsea. So we're halfway through the half. It's still Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1. And Arsenal, when they come forward, they look dangerous. They're picking up good positions. The problem is the same is very true of Chelsea, who are just finding space behind Arsenal's double pivot a little bit too easily. Arsenal don't have a naturally defensively minded player there, and I think it's showing. You're seeing Capitaine get in behind there, Alyssa Thompson coming in off the wing and getting in behind there and just picking up those spaces a little bit too easily. There's some ebb and flow to the game now, but what Arsenal really need to be careful of is not going 2-0 down, because at that point they cannot win this game, and they need to win this game.
The fourth officials indicating a minimum of 4 minutes. 4 minutes.
So half-time here at the Emirates, Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1. A statement in the obvious to say that the next goal in this game is really, really critical, and it really looks like either team could get it, to be honest. I think Arsenal was slightly caught out in the first 10 minutes or so. I think they were expecting Chelsea to play a back three, as they have been for most of the season. Chelsea didn't do that. They've gone to a back four with their most solid full-backs. I think they watched the Leicester game last week and understood some of the spaces Arsenal wanted to attack, and I think Chelsea attacked Arsenal's left-hand side very, very well, and that's where the goal comes from. However, since about the 15th or 20th minute, Chelsea have begun to sat back a little bit. Arsenal have got on top, but Chelsea still look so dangerous on the break. They've got so much speed with Alyssa Thompson and Macario and Canarid. Arsenal don't have a defensively minded player in that midfield, and sometimes Chelsea are picking up the spaces behind that double pivot, but Arsenal really need to win. Chelsea kind of don't, so I'm expecting this pattern to persist in the second half, where Chelsea sit back a bit, look to hit Arsenal on the break, and Arsenal have no choice but to really, really go for this, because it's a must-win game for them. But 1-0 Chelsea at half-time. So we're underway for the second half. Massive half for Arsenal's season, this really. 1-0 down against Chelsea. Like I said, I'm expecting the pattern of the game to stay the same, for Chelsea to be compact, to sit back and look to hit Arsenal on the break. But it really is all about the next goal, I think. And Arsenal are level, and not for the first time in her Arsenal career. Stina Blackstenius comes up with a big goal. Arsenal corner after good work by Caitlin Ford on the left-hand side. Beth Mead swings it in. The defensive header not quite clear, and it drops to Stina in the box, and she absolutely lashes it into the top corner. 1-1. Okay, so we've had bizarre incident here. It looked like Stina Blackstenius had equalised. She hadn't. It took a long time for the referee to disallow the goal. I don't really know why. Maybe handball. The Arsenal bench aren't happy. I don't really understand why it took the officials such an incredibly long time to make that clear, but they have. The goal's been disallowed. It's still 1-0 to Chelsea. I need to see a replay. I'm none the wiser on why that's been disallowed. So we've seen a replay, and trying to put my bias aside, that is a horrendous call. They've called handball when the ball has clearly hit Stina Blackstenius on the thigh. Very poor refereeing, but it's still 1-0 to Chelsea, and Arsenal have to kind of try and put that behind them and try and equalise. So we're halfway through the second half, still Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1, and obviously the stadium's quite up, the players are quite up at the moment, still trying to process the injustice of that disallowed goal. Arsenal have had a couple of bookings as well for some, shall we say, pissed off tackles, but Arsenal have to try to either put that to one side or use that as fuel, as motivation. They've got Chelsea pinned back here, they're creating situations, they're creating chances at the moment, but I think everyone's just finding it a bit difficult to get over the injustice of that disallowed goal at the moment. Still 1-0 Chelsea. And the pressure's told, and Arsenal have equalised. They've been playing basically in the last 20 yards of the pitch for the last 10-15 minutes now. The ball's been really bobbling around. Chelsea have been struggling to get it clear, and bit of a scramble. Ball kept going into the box, being half cleared, but Frida Mornham, one of the substitutes, has delivered a really nice clipped cross to the back post. Alessia Russo on hand with the equaliser, gone in off her ankle, so the referee didn't think this one was a handball. 1-1.
The fourth officials indicating a minimum of 4 minutes at a time. 4 minutes.
So the crowd thought for a brief moment that Arsenal had gone 2-1 up. Counter-attack. You can hear what the fans think of it there on the counter-attack. Russo slides the ball through for Frida Mornham. The linesman's flagged offside. It looks really borderline. Just seeing the replay, I think she might just about be on. But in fairness, I'm told that Russo probably was offside for the equaliser. I think what's true is these officials need this game to finish because they've all just had a bit of a shocker and they need to blow the final whistle and go home.
Full time here at the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1. Thank you, Gooners, for your incredible support here today at Emirates Stadium. Today's crowd, 56,537. Thank you for your magnificent support.
So full time at Emirates Stadium, Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1. A really breathless second half. Difficult to know where to start. The game did settle into the pattern I think everyone thought it would in the second half, with Chelsea with the 1-0 lead. They sat on it and looked to hit Arsenal on the break. They didn't need to win as much as Arsenal did today. Arsenal really applied the pressure, really pushed them back. They thought they'd equalised around about the hour mark through Stina Blackstenius, and for some reason it took a long time for the referee to come to a very poor decision to disallow the goal. She disallows it for handball. It's absolutely nowhere near Stina's hand, and Arsenal had to process that injustice, not least because it took such a long time to come to the wrong decision as well, and you could see that the players were quite het up about that. There were a couple of yellow cards after that, but Arsenal, to their credit, they kept Chelsea pinned back. They really kept them in their own area, and eventually the dam broke and they did get the equaliser through Alessia Russo. It looked like she was offside for that equaliser. I think a little bit of levelling up there for the officials, and Arsenal thought they might have won it late through Frida Mornham, but that goal was disallowed for offside. And to be honest, I've seen a freeze frame of that, and I still can't tell whether it was offside or not. I think if we had VAR, that was one that would take 2 or 3 minutes to really process. So really breathless second half, but even though Arsenal performed very, very well in the second half, there's no doubt this is a better result for Chelsea than it is for Arsenal. It maintains that 5-point gap, which doesn't quite finish things, I don't think, in terms of Arsenal's title aspirations. It makes it very, very difficult for them, though, and I think Chelsea will probably be quite pleased with this result in the end. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1.